Welcome back, everybody, for what will not be the final time we're here to do an episode discussion for Attack on Titan, but it will be the final time we do it for Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 2. We will be back with Season 4 Part 3. Yes, they did it. Fuck me. No movies for us. What a shame. But anyway, to give their thoughts, because we don't just make them introduce themselves first, to give his thoughts first, we're going to shoot over to Jarky Bacon.
Oh yeah, I'm Jarky Bacon. Woo, that's me. Yeah, yeah. So the episode I really liked it actually. I thought it was really good. I would be very very angry if I was an anime only because I'd have to wait more time for the next episode because this one definitely got me very hyped. Yeah, and I think there's a lot of scenes that weren't. I was like, "Hang on, wait, that was in the manga." I think it also helped clarify a few things and put emphasis on a few things that will help overall the ending that we got in the manga. So I think keeping this chapter and delaying it so far and like putting it together was really good. So yeah.
And we are also joined by. We'll get into Bacon there because he said some disgusting things I just heard. But we'll hand over to Mr. R. Riker7, who is also here.
Hello, yes, I am Riker7, soon to be rebranding just for YouTube anime discussions. But we'll deal with that later.
Exciting stuff.
Yes, I'm a bit mixed on this episode actually. There were definitely bits that I thought were done really well.
Mr. Positive being brought down.
There were bits that I thought were done really well.
Good.
And then there were some bits that I felt looked a little cheap. Especially towards the end of the episode. Like, you could tell that they were clearly trying to cram everything they could in, because they had to cram nearly 2 chapters into it. And they've been doing 1 chapter an episode up to this point. So, I'm sure we'll go into more detail. But yeah, there were...
Yes.
It was decent, and also I was a bit unhappy about the final line. Maybe it was a translation thing, but I've not seen any translations that differ from it, from either Crunchyroll, Funimation, or inevitably when I've watched reactions of people who are using pirated streams to watch it.
Huh. Well, I am currently on a pirated stream, and I actually don't know what line you're talking about. So, and I'm not sure about the differences. I don't remember the dude getting incinerated, but that might have been there. But every time we come into here, I find out about certain differences, whether it's one of you telling me or we just scroll through the pages here. In terms of me, myself, I feel like I liked the episode. I think it was clever structurally. I would have preferred... it was kind of impossible with how they laid out the season to do this back when it was supposed to happen in the manga. I do think I would have preferred it that way, but the way they decided to do it structurally in this episode, to basically have it start with a cold open of Mikasa having a sort of internal monologue about when did this all start, or when did it all go wrong, and then to have the mid-credits thing and then have Eren start up and do it. I thought that was really clever. Clever way of doing it this way if you were going to do it this way. Other than that, I feel like I'm just about as positive as I usually am on this episode. I'm interested to see what Mr. R is going to say. But I guess, do we want to talk about anything off the bat, anything that jumps out, or do we want to go chronologically? I guess this is our free-for-all section.
I can get into some of my specific grievances, specific line.
Tell me the line.
The line in question was that it was.
Is it at the end of 130?
Yeah, where it didn't specifically say. It wasn't like the same line that was used at the beginning. It wasn't about destroying every last one of those animals.
Oh yes,
Earth.
I did notice that too. But I thought again, I was like, translation question mark?
No, the official translation is like, I'm going to destroy them, every last one of them, until there's none left, or something like that. And it's like, no, that line, it just did not have the impact that every last one of those animals that's on this Earth line had.
Because it's the callback. They even showed the pages that call back to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they did. I guess they did oddly change it. That was weird. Okay, yeah, I am on board. I do remember that. Okay. I guess we will talk about that more when we go through chronologically. But
by the way, if you were watching on a pirate stream, did your official translation say it's the attacking Titan?
I don't think so, but my brain might have just auto-corrected it.
Yeah,
so I read
again,
Titan.
when I was looking at some of the reaction vids and like the reaction mashups, whatever stream they were getting their info from, they called it the attacking Titan. And it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
The it's funny because it kind of that moment is kind of weird. Like I don't know why they say the attack Titan. And they just say it's Eren because they all know who he is because of the Willy Tiber speed. But why do they know it's the attack Titan? It's a little bit of a weird moment.
Yeah,
but
I mean, do they even know it's?
the
Do
manga
they even know
thing.
that he is the attack Titan?
I think he does say that he has the founder. I don't even know if he says he has the attack Titan. He might say he has 2 Titans or something to scare everybody. But it is an odd moment at the end.
I think it's so that they can drop the title of the manga.
Yeah.
That's what-
Yes, that is the reason. But, I guess both part 2s ended on moments where they say Shingeki no Kyojin to be really cool.
Yeah.
Title drops are cool. I do like it, but
It actually did the meme where they dropped the name. You know, it's like you see those meme panels are like, "Oh, I'm gonna go berserk," or
yes,
"I'm gonna
that's
do."
actually an old.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, consider. I mean, maybe it's
We're
because
on a
it's been
Vinland Saga.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
because it's been
We're
memed
going
to
in.
death or something. But if those guys had
Yeah.
said it's him, it's Eren Yeager,
Yeah,
then
true.
like the meme would still work. The meme would still exist.
Because that
Yeah,
meme is a CinemaSins meme, right? Or is that just the first place I saw it? Because they used to always say title drop and they'd give it a sin.
They'd always say roll credits, yeah, and give it a sin. But actually,
Oh yeah,
but then I mean, that's been sort of bastardized into dozens of memes.
yeah.
I think at this point.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the Attack Titan. Mr. R, what else do you have complaints about? So you said stuff looked bad. I think I know what you're talking about, but
I feel like there was one shot that I thought was bad with the Colossals, but I assume that's where we're going.
I mean, I thought like when all the shots sort of hit the water and then they're being broken apart, I thought that looked a bit jank. If I'm being honest.
It is the blood. Hey, like I feel like recently it might be a Mappa issue generally because I feel like I remember this in season 4, part 1. The blood sometimes looking a bit cheap. I guess I see that. But is that what you were talking about, or more specifically them like falling apart? I don't remember them getting.
Well, they don't. That's the thing. In the manga, it looks like the weapons are completely ineffective. We don't see a single
Yeah.
colossal titan go down. But in the anime, there we were getting tons of them being broken apart, and then there was that moment of did we beat them, and then they just keep coming. So there was that. Also, I thought their swim
that
speed
panel.
looked really fucking weird. How quickly they went through the water, considering how slow they appear to move on land. It was just this really weird juxtaposition that they look like they're swimming super fast, which I guess they probably
God,
would.
I'm looking at these pages. They're so fucking cool.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like the manga just looks amazing for this entire section. Whilst the anime, I just
God.
think the
They're
budgetary.
shot underwater. There's so much movement. God, look at these fucking thighs. These big toes moving. We definitely didn't get it.
I will say I actually never ever clocked that they were swimming. And so
Swimming.
when I saw these big guys swimming like little speed boats, I was like, oh my! I was like, so that's like that almost was better because then after that I was still getting over that they were swimming. I just couldn't like. I just thought it was so funny, just in concept. And then I was like, oh, of course, Isayama also had them swimming. And then even with the rest of the janky looking stuff, I was like, well, nothing can look as bad as these guys swimming conceptually. Why didn't they just march across the bottom of the water like the guys from Pirates of the Caribbean 1? Man, Isayama, that was a bad decision. But now looking back at these panels, I mean, the panels look great.
Yeah, the panels
you know.
look amazing. That's part of the problem. The panels look great, and the anime just didn't, unfortunately. There was also a shot right at the. I was gonna say there was a shot right at the very end as well, where it's like the wide shot of everything, and I felt like they tried too hard to put too many colossal titans on. Like it worked in the manga because they were so obscured by all the steam. Then the anime, you can just see hundreds of like these little characters repeating the same 3 animations between them.
Yeah, I felt like my video game was lagging as it was
Yeah,
trying
it just
to,
didn't. It
render
didn't. Again,
all the
it didn't
all the
look
instances.
great, unfortunately. Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of concerned for part 3, although I'm sure we'll get into that. Like, if they have to do lots of wide shots of the rumbling, like with lots and lots of titans, that it will look a bit jank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think they looked too bad, but I think the fact that they didn't have enough steam, if they added steam or something, maybe they'll fix on the Blu-rays. I don't know, but I actually thought the most jank looking thing was Eren's Titan itself. I was like, oh, this looks like
it didn't look as intimidating as it did in the manga. The manga, it looked fucking horrifying when you first saw it.
Particularly with the face, I was like, when you get to the face, I would expect that you draw it and not use a 3D model, just because like 3D model, no matter how you do it, even when they've looked their best, they always look like a 3D model with a bit of Play-Doh. You can't really replicate, and Mappa's style works so well for this kind of gritty feel, and I feel like that's exactly what Aaron's Titan looks like, you know. So
Miller's made a good point. Music really carried the scene. It did.
the music was fantastic in this episode. I want to say that flat out. Like the remix of where they're all drinking.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was so that's like an instant playlist. You'll be hearing that in the back of Jarky Bacon videos for years to come. You know, I'm downloading that one real quick. You know, yeah, I thought that was really good. Yeah, so
we're just jumping to this. In the manga, especially the hand movement here, they try to do this because they try to make him have his hand movement be silent. There's so much like kinetic energy. I feel like I'm saying that every week. Maybe that's a cheap video title. Attack on Titan, how it does kinetic energy. But I feel like there's so much movement in these
sounds
pages.
like a super iPad Wolf point.
Yeah. The one shot that I did think was really good in the episode was when they had all the ship cannons fire up into the air and then they came down. I thought that was cute.
I thought
overall, I didn't think the Titans looked as bad. I think as both of you. I did like when the Aaron's Titan showed up. I just thought it looked. It was looking okay. I didn't really notice anything bad.
Ultimately, I thought
Mostly same with the Colossals, but maybe I'm just more lenient with CGI. I'm not sure.
I mean, I have like my problem is when I think the CGI is generally fine. It's just I think when it looks bad, it looks really bad. Like I'm gonna go back to Zeke in the forest when his fight against Levi. I was kind of taken out of that what was meant to be a really cool fight because Zeke's Titan looked like a fucking PlayStation character.
Oh, I've just gotten a flashback of me complaining about that.
Yeah. I mean, I did think the shot of they're like all like, so he has the silent fire, and then the impact of it was really fantastic, and they just shows like quick flashes of and quick like changes in camera of all the things flying. Yeah, but now I think about it, they were swimming really quickly, like for Colossal Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because like Colossal Titans don't weigh that much. Like for their size, they don't weigh as much. So maybe they have all that.
Normies did indeed say that. I will point out, but yeah, they said
they have huge feet, so they would be able to swim quickly. But yeah, it just feels like this weird thing considering they always look like they're really slow when they're walking, but the swim was.
I feel like just doing it in motion was always going to make it look a little weird. I feel like the single panels here, like, really carry it, which is, I guess, a bonus to the manga. Like,
that Isayama making great use of the medium. Great use to the limitations of the medium to convey a lot of motion, and your brain kind of just fills in and makes it work. But when you're actually trying to make it work in animation, it's just not quite there.
Yeah, because how I imagined it was, you know, like, so I'll go back to Pirates of the Caribbean, but you know when they are walking under the ship, and you can see them go in and out of the moonlight, and you can see how they change from their real forms to their skeleton forms.
Such a good fucking shot.
It's such a good shot, but I just imagine that's what the Colossal Titans are doing, because they're heavy enough to be on the bottom of the sea, because they're the Colossal Titans. I understand that they may be like less dense because they're steam and all this stuff, but like it just gives this menacing feel, while here they're almost like sharks or fishes, and this shot here is very much like a shark shot on the boat. It's about to come up and eat the whole ship kind of feel, but the speed of them kind of gives a different vibe to what generally the Colossal Titans give, where they're just this slow but inevitable force that you can only be scared of, and they'll eventually crush you because they're so big and they walk so slowly, but their stride length is so long. And generally, so I think seeing them swim, it caught me off guard. I mean, I was enjoying it either way. It was just one of those things where I was like, it doesn't look as good as it could be, but hey, that's what the anime is going to be like. So yeah.
The because every other shot of the Titans in the water is like not them swimming. Like, there's the silhouette shot here. There is a lot of silhouette shots at the end here. The silhouette shot of them coming through the smoke, I think, is really cool. I don't think they did anything with that, or did they? Does anybody want to what's the opposite of corroborating?
Yeah, it's weird because that panel of them coming out of the water was is after them being standing tall like that. So anyway, but yeah, I mean when you saw all of them rear their heads out of the water, that was very cool in the anime as well, I thought. So
Yeah, I thought they had a close up of one of the blokes' faces. He looked pretty scary, so that was cool.
oh yeah, they did spend quite a bit of time. Yeah, and I think that's
I feel like
because they were able to go hand drawn, that made it feel better, you know, just like
yeah,
more terrifying. Maybe that was the guy that was the wall chunk got kicked off of, so he's from the inner sanctum wall or whatever it is, you know.
maybe.
Yeah, like this little reference.
But yeah, I feel like for the first time of us actually seeing the rumbling in action, it was good enough. There are little areas that could have been done. This shot that they did here of them breaking onto the coast, I think was pretty good in the anime too.
There's a lot of camera
But yeah.
movement for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I guess I kind of want to go back to the start, like of the devils on that island, actually, because I think,
Yeah, we'll circle back.
yeah,
We
because
did the final bit.
well, first things first, I was talking to my mate who is an anime only, and he was really confused. He was like, "Hang on, is Sasha grown up Gabby?" Like, and he was like, "Hang on, wait, why is Eren there? Or like, is it over?" Like, he thought it had skipped forward in time, not gone back in time,
No.
initially. But like, it took him like 2 minutes to realize that. It was like, "Oh yeah, we're going back in time." But I really like this because, like, for at least me, it kind of compares like where you got Mikasa and then you've got Historia talking to Eren later on, but there's so much focus on Mikasa here, and like, to me, it'll put more emphasis on the kiss, and that in turn made the ending make more sense because now there's more foreshadowing of like Mikasa has to do what she didn't do back then, basically. So that's what I quite liked about it.
What do you
Maybe
mean
it's just
more foreshadowing.
well, just more
Like,
emphasis.
just because
on
it's centered at the end, or do you think there was more emphasis?
I think because of the placement of it, it's like the end of the season is closer to the point where it's happening,
I guess.
and I think the scene was dragged out a little longer. Maybe that was just the pacing of like manga to anime, but at least for me, like, it made made the foreshadowing of like, oh yeah, Eren and Mikasa are trying to have a thing. Well, them having a thing makes more sense now than, say, Historia and Eren. I know it's kind of foreshadowed in
Yeah.
this, but the amount of time that Historia and Eren talk in this,
They really didn't
really
give that.
short.
Yeah.
so
I think we see more of that scene in the next chapter as well. But yes, there definitely was a clear, like, the love interest is Mikasa here, not Historia, you dumb fucks.
yeah,
It
yeah,
didn't-
basically. I also think that it's just like, and also just how Eren's reacting then. So like, he's dead inside in the Mikasa part, but he does want to know. You know, he's asking that question.
It feels like he's
But-
on the very breaking point, right? He's like,
Yeah.
there's a little bit.
But in the Historia one, he's like far too gone. And
Yeah.
it's like almost there's no like nothing romantic about it in the Historia one. I feel like.
Yeah.
It's just, if you wanted to ship them, you could fill in the gaps and that could work. But I think, at least, like, putting them side by side, it's like, yeah, Mikasa's clearly like the main focus. Which,
Yeah.
and then for me at least, then in turn reminds me that, like, okay, that makes more sense about, you know, the final chapter then. That, like,
The
while the lore behind it may have not been explained and Ymir kind of does like a lot of stuff real quickly, I'm just like, okay, I'll accept it. This one's like, for like, Mikasa's character arc and Eren's character arc, it makes more sense. So
there's
Depends on
two things on the for the Historia scene. Oh, hold on. 3 things just jumped into my brain. I'm gonna forget 2 of them. I wanted to say something about emphasis. They are clearly trying to build up running towards the tree a lot more. Like, there's the shot of Mikasa at the beginning where she's like, "Oh, what did I ever see in Eren?" And then there's sort of the shot of Eren running ahead of her, running towards the tree. I think there was another reference to it later. I know a lot of people feel like the running towards the tree analogy came out of nowhere, so they clearly want to put more emphasis on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean maybe that's why they included it, because did they include it? If they include it in the ED as well, like is that the big theme in the
Yeah,
and the
Or-
opening as well has the tree?
it's in
as
the
well.
opening. Yeah, yeah, them running towards the tree and the good
It's
old
interesting.
times.
I know maybe it's
Europe,
just me retroactively like not believing, but I never thought the tree came out of nowhere. I always thought it was quite
That's what,
predominant. but-
I was also in that camp, but I know Miller specifically did talk about how
I
like,
thought it was okay
he's a-
purely because like I still had that memory. Like I'd always kept this in the back of my mind of the Eren waking up under the tree and Mikasa
Mhm.
going, "Why are you
Yeah.
crying?" and all that. Like that scene, no matter what I thought was going to happen, that scene always stuck in my head of this is going to be important. It's going to call back to this at the very end of the manga.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
well, that's like one of the few scenes we have of them before everything changes in their whole world with the first
Yeah.
attack on
in the
Shinganshina.
first chapter.
You know, like so that's almost like their pure innocent childhood. That's like a representation of it, of them. Though the only thing is that Armin wasn't there, and he is now there. So that if you're like, why is Armin tied to this? Then you have to do a bit of like a linking, I guess, being like, oh, Armin's normally with them, so he would have probably been at that tree and all that stuff. So
Quickly before I forget, because I will forget my fucking points. There was a point where I was watching it, and I was like, oh, there's no way that doesn't immediately tease that Eren is the father. I was still on that. And the way they actually did it in the anime, I was like, oh, the build up, because I knew the last line of that scene was Historia saying, "What if I got pregnant?" And I feel like the look here in the manga, bedroom eyes a bit, but we'll copium our way out of this. The way they did it in the anime, I was like, because I knew, I think I just said this, I knew like what the last line was going to be with the Historia part here. I was like, how are they going to make this not seem like they're insinuating that Eren is the father? But they did it. It was something in the way the line was delivered, and it wasn't as interspliced as it is in the manga, unless I'm misremembering already. But I feel like we got all of the Historia scene.
Yeah, looking at it
Yeah.
now, I was trying to find the panel literally just then. I was like, wait a second, what the fuck's going on? And yeah, it's because the Historia in the anime, it happens at the end of the Historia section, not as one of these intercut memories.
I think all of the memories here are intercut, which I think is kind of cute because it's like Eren's like.
Oh, I just noticed, did we get this in the
jumbled up
anime? I'll need to go
thoughts.
back and watch. Did we get the little panel of Ramsey being beaten up there?
We did for 1 second. I didn't remember that in the manga, but where is it? Yeah, it is. I remember this shot. I was like, are they teasing that for the first episode of next season? But because that is in
First
the next
episode of
chapter. But
next
indeed,
season,
we did
yeah.
get that one. Yeah, of next part. I mean, my
Yeah.
apologies.
God, we
but
are
yes, we did
opening
see
the
that
next
shot.
season on the rumbling. That's fucking mental.
On young little Ramsey. I wonder if people will remember who he was.
Which is interesting, actually, because it means that we finished this episode basically with meeting Ramsey, and then the start of the next episode, he's getting fucking squished. Maybe that's a good thing, actually. Maybe because like if they showed it all the way back, maybe people would have forgotten about him. Maybe.
I feel like there was less emphasis on like him than there was in the chapter.
Mhm.
I kind of got that impression. I feel like it worked. I don't know. I feel like letting it sit for a little while works better, but being in the top of people's mind, it is kind of true. But I guess even if you take from 123 to 131, which is what, 10 months, it'll probably be just a little less of a wait to see Ramsey again for the manga people than it will be for the anime people.
I feel like the manga people are more active at keeping up and reminding themselves what's happening.
Yes.
Now maybe this is an unfair thing, but like there's a reason that things usually get dumbed down for television audiences, as opposed to say book
Yeah.
audiences who are expected to just remember
Yeah,
the
maybe.
volumes of information that they're given. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, and they reiterate
maybe I'm
on
wrong
it.
on that, but that feels like a common.
I feel like that's
trend.
definitely true. I guess there was a lot of there wasn't a particular cinematography thing that really stood out to me this episode. I did like the flashes they would do, which they did do a lot of the manga flashes that sometimes they cut, where Eren was like, when did this all start? And he flashes to the tree, he flashes to the pigs, he flashes to himself being born. And I think we got a lot of these flashes too, which they usually definitely don't do the little ones. But that was really cool. That's just a little thing. I don't really have much else to say about that. But yeah, I thought that was cool. They did have the bird. The bird was flying over things. He was as involved as he was in the manga. Though, if we scroll down really quickly to these two shots, the two double pages of the birds, they did cut this. Well, I guess to me, I always thought this was them heading, but it looks like, never mind, they didn't cut this shot. I was thinking this is like them heading to the coast, but it's just them waiting in the bay. Is it a bay? I don't know. I do really like the ink splotches that we do for coming back from like Aaron's weird memory to reality through the bird here. That's a good old page.
Reading chat.
Let's see how we can draw.
Miller saying, going from I can't have a long-term relationship with Mikasa to Historia Atama getting pregnant is definitely an intentional transition.
It was interesting because I was watching the Normies reaction, as you do. And they thought she was already pregnant in that scene. So they couldn't have even thought that like there was no insinuation there that Eren would have been the father.
Yeah, I was trying to
it's funny
figure
that
out if she was pregnant or not, and then I was like, no, she's not pregnant.
She's not. I remembered the last line, so yeah, that's fine.
I will also say I completely forgot that Zeke was like, I think this girl just likes you. I was like, oh, that's kind of based. Man, Zeke, you're kind of smart, bro. But maybe he wasn't.
It's funny that he can
guess
see it
what?
with other people, but he can't like.
Well,
it
you know,
goes back
actually,
into the
well,
Zeke.
the thing is, you know, but then again, Eren has seen every single possible timeline. You know, he's made his Bertolt kill his mother and all this stuff. So, you know, who knows what really, whatever. You know, like maybe such a simple observation is actually incorrect, and Aaron's done some fudgery there. Anyway, next scene, when he was cutting off his leg, he looked so animalistic. I loved how he was positioned over that knife. It looked like he was really like. Just like his shoulders looked really broad and like hunched over.
It was a very uncomfortable scene to watch. It was great.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of did the opposite to the manga here, where in the manga it's kind of matter of fact, and that's what's kind of like
he's so
not
cool.
Scary but horrific about it. It's not even that it's a so cool moment. Like I feel like the shot directly of it in the eye rather than in the anime, like him shaking over the eye. I feel like it is. They almost did it in opposite ways, where it was very visceral and grotesque in the anime, whereas in the manga it's sort of just like this is what he has to do, cut, and it is kind of like terrifying that he's willing to do this.
Miller's linking Ari's hot take on Twitter.
Oh no, Ari's base. This was definitely one of the best episodes. Like I don't know if I made that clear at the start, but it might be. I really enjoyed this.
Let me click the thing.
But then again, it may just be
Easily my
recency
favorite
bias.
episode of this season.
Recency bias, because
I
feel like I come into every one
pretty
of these
much,
discussions and be like, this was my favorite episode. So,
It was a really good. It was a good episode. Don't get me wrong; they've all been good. Like, there's been no bad episodes.
That
this
was just
season.
some funky parts.
Yeah, there were just some.
Yeah.
Now, there was some comments to T-Brank. He did like the fast swimming, so you know the cost was uncanny and creepy and make them seem even more hopeless for Marley. So you know, just want to get a wide array of opinions. You know, I disagree for certain reasons, as I probably said, but you know, it's good to see that at least some people liked it, because you know, more people liking stuff. That's not a bad thing. So
I feel like for me that the whole season has been pretty consistently like the same. Like there is really not a particular episode that stands out exceptionally for me. Every one of them was good. So yeah, I'm not like mad at that take from Ari or anything. I feel like we've kind of covered most of 130. There's the Flock moment, which is cute. The Flock is in on it, and I like the reaction shot, which is in the manga here. I was just checking, of Flock being like freaked out at how far Aaron's willing to go. That was cute because Flock has been positioned to be the crazy one so far, so it's kind of neat to see him get caught off guard. With Flock here, it's actually interesting because I don't know if it was made evident that Flock was like eavesdropping for Eren on the Yelena conversation, which is kind of what's implied. Or maybe like he was just eavesdropping and Eren found out and had to rope him in. That's actually interesting.
it's never explained, yeah.
If Eren doesn't co-sign on Flock and it was just something he had to do because Flock coincidentally was eavesdropping and maybe he didn't like Flock and therefore he doesn't endorse the Aegis and move on. You could sort of
I think the one with least assumptions from what we know is that he was listening because Eren asked him to be listening there. Considering how he's positioned, Eren's Aaron's back is turned towards him, so it's
Yeah.
almost like Aaron's entered last, and Phlox followed him in there and is listening. That's what I would assume, because we haven't been told otherwise. But if you want to have a different spin on it, there's definitely
Do we see the hand kiss at all this episode? I don't think so.
I can't remember if we did, which it was weird because I feel like that's kind of like the catalyst for all the sort of the memory shard. I mean, they did it during during 120 during the 122 episode or the 120 or the end of the 121 episode.
That's all of 130, really. The only thing we haven't really talked about is the
Well, that's the thing, like, I was
123
saying,
flashback.
I was saying in Discord, wasn't it? The 130 wouldn't take that long to adapt because it's like 19 pages of just Titans walking towards the shore. I thought they did I thought they did a really good job with like the little flashback, the picture, like the horror on Aaron's face. Like one of the big memes I like to think about is like that image is a redraw of like chapter 2, I think, or chapter 1.
Yes.
And it looks really bad in chapter 1 or 2. Like, Isayama's art style has come a long way.
Actually, I remember the tweet about this, and I remember getting mad at the tweet because that shot is only a tiny, tiny little panel in the corner of chapter 2, and it's blown up. But yeah, fuck, what was I going?
I've realized as well that Aaron said when talking to Flock, he said every last one of those animals that's on this earth. It's a running motif that's how he describes it.
Yeah, because he says that in chapter 2 when he's looking at Reiner.
Yeah.
That's in core themes and changing context in Attack on Titan. I talk about that line. What a
You do
genius.
indeed.
Anyway, don't co-sign the genius part. What do we want to talk about with the flashback? Ice cream, cute. I feel like the Mikasa panel, which coincidentally I think is going to be Mr. O's thumbnail for his video, I feel like it was a little overdone in the anime. I feel like it was a little too much.
That conversation they had, there were a couple of really weird quick cuts in that. I can't remember exactly which bits it is. I'll probably have it up on screen right now, where I felt like it suddenly would just like have this sort of wide shot. It would cut quickly to Aaron and then immediately cut back to the wide shot for no real reason. I didn't quite get it. It didn't flow as naturally.
I'm not remembering this, so...
It's a really minor thing. It just sort of stuck in my head as, oh, that was a bit weird.
I really like how the suits are colored in the manga, by the way.
Yeah,
I
they
don't know
look
what it is,
so
but-
good. I'm just like, man,
Yeah.
I've warmed up so much to Connie's design. I thought he looked so like goofy. I didn't like his haircut, but Mappe, they made him some.
So you liked all the different color suits in the anime?
Oh,
No, I
really
was talking
liked
about the manga, by the
Okay,
way.
yeah,
I was talking about the
you
manga.
say the manga because I was wondering now. I was like, Kyle likes his sort of his monochrome suits that the Azumabito had in that chapter. So I wonder what he's gonna think of. Like they do have, looking at the manga now, they do have different tone-colored suits, but I wasn't
So
a
cool.
huge fan of
Okay,
them all being different colors. I kind of all wanted them to just be grays and blues.
What?
Grays and sort of
It
What
blues.
did
is
reflect-
this? No,
The
they look so
episode-
good. You guys are. I can't believe you guys.
Mikasa's dress
You are-
being white. Mikasa's dress being white though was really good.
And Aaron was all in black. It was cute.
That was really good.
Yeah,
Um,
but then Levi having the nice, like, blue looking
Hmm.
suave as. Ooh, choose.
I'm gonna be
I
honest,
love that.
Bacon. I don't remember what Connie's suit was.
No, I just remember Connie looking
remember.
great. I was like, I'll marry that man. Oh,
I fucking
My word.
like. There were a few things like I really liked the ice cream scene. I wish that it actually animated Mikasa actually taking a bite rather than just the panel of her smiling and blushing at it.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to see more of Mikasa with the ice cream. Like that's a scene that I wanted. Like the fucking clown. I don't know who they got to voice
What
him.
menace?
Remember
Yeah,
they got to
the
voice him?
clown was creepy.
Like that.
Yeah,
like,
because remember when this
unbelievable.
chapter first came out, we thought it was a Joker reference why the clown was in it. I just remember that little detail. By the way, who takes a bite out of ice cream, Mr. R? That's a little weird.
Well, not a bite then.
You
A
lick
lick.
the
You know,
ice
a
cream,
lick
right?
then. You forced me to say
I
lick
was just
on
saying.
stream.
no,
That's gonna
in,
hurt your
in
teeth.
anime, they
Biting ice
definitely
cream.
take a bite. Yeah, in anime, they definitely
Yeah.
take a bite.
Wait,
unless
can
they
I remember
want to
Gabby
be
taking a
sexual.
bite out of
But
ice
that's because
cream in
Sasha has
season
no
4,
idea
part
what
1?
she's on about, what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The carrot gag, I like the carrot gag. They're feeding the
That was
carcass.
so good. Oh, it was a bit of levity. I really just
That
just
was nice.
oh,
Like the
this is-
wole sort of a lot of the Marley flashback. There was that nice sort of bit of sort of levity to camp, considering what sort of to bookend. It's not really even bookending sort of prelude to the horror that's going to happen.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't
Thought
like
it was about to be
is when
some poignant
Ramses
shit.
was getting bullied by, like, it felt, I'm not sure if it's like this in the manga, but it felt very
Over dramatic.
artificial. Yeah, where you got all
Yeah.
these guys around who's like, we need to kill his family. Yeah, let's kill his family. And then you're just like, oh, okay, calm down. And then they have like, the most
Obviously-
like, weird, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
like,
obviously the juxtaposition is supposed to be like they're all having fun, and then immediately it can turn on a dime to be like, oh, humanity can have fun, but they're also pricks sometimes, and they want to beat up the little
Yeah.
kid.
yeah,
and that
for a
kinda
man
works,
that
but
likes,
yes, definitely
yeah,
felt.
for a man that likes subtlety, I don't think, it was incredibly subtle. It's just like switches.
You know, Bacon, we beat up
everybody's
people who like
evil.
subtle now.
Everybody hates the immigrant. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, it's like, oh wow, and then like they come up with this plan. I'm just like, okay, sure. I mean, they didn't buy it, so it was fine. But like,
I feel like the way they frame it in the manga maybe helps a little bit because it's not like, I don't know. I feel like it was like sort of close-up shots of all the people being mad, whereas it's kind of like focusing in on like the discomfort of our characters and them trying to maneuver out of it. I had forgotten that they just run off. But that's funny. It is supposed to be sort of wacky, right? Because they just get away by running, and it's sort of like, it kind of feels like a scene from a different manga. I think that's
Well,
a bit
it's-
the point.
I think it's more like everybody's waiting around for this one kid to get caught stealing something, and then they're like, yeah, he stole
Yeah.
something. Let's group around and finally be able to have a reason to beat up this immigrant. But like, if you're that racist, you're gonna beat up the kid no matter what. Like, I don't really care. So like, to me, I was like, hang on, like, I don't think there'll be that much. It didn't feel like there would be that much of a fuss from that many people about this thing, and because the anime has to blow everything up to the same size screen and kind of have smaller panels, it's just more obvious. So then the small little details like this bug me more. It's not really that big of a detail. But a detail I did like is that they showed all of them like breathing really heavily because they're not used to the suits, and they're like pulling on their collars and stuff like this. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that's
No, I
really
didn't notice
smart,
that.
small gestures and stuff like that when they're like tired. So
Yeah, because it's like, you'd think these guys are all like super in shape, big soldiers, but it's like they're also
Yeah.
wearing, uncomfortable sort of formal suits that probably don't allow them any kind of real maneuverability, so they're probably sweating like fuck.
yeah,
The,
I also
a little
like
bit
how
of context, just quick. This is like a 3-second point.
Mhm.
Is that they do all mention that they all like the owners of the what do you call owner of a market, owner of a stall at a market. So I guess they are particularly perturbed by thieves. That's a little bit of context, but I think
I don't think all of them. There's some of them, I'm sure. I guess maybe they've all been pickpocketed in the past, but whatever. I don't know. I feel like, yeah. Either way, I did quite like that. They were also like, oh guys, we need to be quiet. That we're not devils, and then they like, kept on like showing it, and whatever. Like
Yeah,
no one
that-
assumed that they were devils, so there was no tension there. But it was just a funny gag. And then the next scene I completely forgot at the house.
I had completely forgotten this fucking Kiyomi scene as well. I'd completely forgotten it.
I'm just going to say something real quick, just to go back on this. Just a little sort of direction thing that they did that I kind of appreciated was that they actually went out of their way to make Ramsey like, in the manga, he's drawn to look basically as white as all the other characters. But the anime was like, no, that. I mean, I assumed that he was. I assumed that would be the case anyway, just like because he's clearly just drawn to be from like another country, like a sort of an immigrant or a refugee.
It's a Turkish outfit design as far as I know. So
Yeah.
so like, I had like Turkish in mind. I feel like he was darker than what most Turks I know, because some Turks can be quite white, but it may be a thing that you have quite a range of melatonin.
It was just an
levels.
interesting thing for them to actually diversify the characters,
Yeah.
because in the manga they are all drawn to basically look the same. They are drawn to effectively look the
Yeah.
same. If it wasn't for his outfit, you'd have no idea, sort of thing.
Yeah, there is no difference in skin tone between him and even Kiyomi here, or Eren or anything. So yeah, the Kiyomi scene, it's just sort of them saying they're going to the conference thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has anything to say about that.
Not really. Oh, the
Yeah, I get
panning there is quite cool. It's like all close up talking, then it goes wide shot. It's like, where's Eren? And then all I could think about is like, oh, we're back to old Mikasa saying Eren like 15 times,
Yeah.
15 times a minute.
In the anime, she looks behind her as well, doesn't she? It's not just like
Yeah.
Like it's sort of the
Yeah, the room is
back
set up
shot.
differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And here
Now, this
they're on like a
scene-
mountain overlooking the camp
Ye-
as well, not a flat.
Yeah, that was a little different. Yeah. The This scene I remember a lot because I made 2 videos on it. But I feel like the tears handled better in the manga. Maybe it's not, I guess, over dramatic if we're saying it again.
This is like the
There
most
was like
Carl opinion I've ever heard. Oh, the tears were better than the manga. It's exactly the same.
You know
Carl.
what?
Shut up. I'm
there is
telling you.
only-
It wasn't even a dual stream this time in the anime. I don't
Oh,
think.
I was about to
can't
say
even
that,
believe
Mizra. You
Carl.
took my fucking. I was gonna come in with the big. It
Look
was
at
only
this
one
guy.
stream, and I still don't like it. But yeah, there was a different angle to the shot, and I was like, it's the Roy
we need a
Mustang
bingo
moment, I guess.
card here and the top rows.
I'll
Just
bring up
like,
tears every fucking thing if I have to.
yeah.
No, I feel like
Kyle wishes he was colorblind. Oh, so
I
he could
do.
live a life finally
Every day.
happy. Oh,
yeah,
good
so
grief.
life would be like my Japanese manga.
And then you wouldn't have to watch
Um,
the anime in crappy color either. Oh, wonderful times that would be.
I had forgotten that the bloke just shows up in the middle of their talk, but he is indeed here at the bottom of the manga panel.
That's hilarious.
Um,
That's actually.
Yeah, it's
but like
cute.
he showed to be so creepy. He's like, hey, yeah, hey.
I feel like
he's
it's
got this
not creepy
grin.
though. I feel like it's like a gentle like I don't know what
The
I'm doing.
smile's creepy. That's
I'm
not the
here.
voice. It's just the smile. Like it's got like.
I feel like
all
the
the
smile
teeth,
is
like-
endearing.
I didn't
no,
find
am
it in the
I
anime.
creep
at
bacon? Is that what
least,
you're
but,
saying?
like, it's a very toothy grin, and it feels very like they're trying to show that this guy is dodgy. But then he just gives him loads of alcohol.
break the tie here. Was it creepy or endearing?
I think it was a little weird when I saw it. in the
Oh,
It's
anime,
endearing
I
because it's
think.
odd, but I don't think it's creepy.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't go as far as say creepy. It was definitely a bit odd. I was kind of like, eh? But all the following scenes was like,
So
kind
you're
of
fence
endeared.
sitting is what you're saying.
I'm fence sitting, is
Yeah,
what
You
I'm
look
saying.
at
refuse to
this.
choose a side.
Now this is the problem
Um,
with society.
The Do we want to talk about the implications of this scene? I feel like we've all said it a million times. I don't know. I feel like I was thinking about something while watching the episode, a big thing about Eren and Mikasa, but I've forgotten it completely.
Also, both of them are big cowards. You know, you just have to ask how you just have to be. Sorry, Eren just has to be like, "Oh, do you love me?" Not, "What do you think of me?" And then Mikasa just
Yeah,
has
it's
to
vague
be like,
enough for
"I
her to
love it
wiggle out
too."
of it. It's true.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's kind of the point that Mikasa regrets cowarding out. here,
both of them
obviously.
are cowards.
So I wonder if this is an edit. Something I noticed, noticing from the manga just now, is that Mikasa and Eren stand in the opposite way around, and I only say that because I had to fucking flip the image of Mikasa to make it fit the thumbnail
Oh,
properly.
thumbnail. Yeah.
I see.
And I wonder
yeah.
if that's because of the Japanese sort of reading right to left, and it
Left
makes
to
sense.
right, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
it makes sense for the speaker, the opening speaker, to be on the right, and then the reactor to be on the left. Whilst in traditional animation, that doesn't apply
yeah,
as
okay.
much.
That's cute.
I don't know.
Oh,
You
interesting.
might be right.
But yeah, it would have been nicer to have Mikasa on the left like this as the sort of the reactor. I think the manga shot of her looking embarrassed is better than the anime shot. Man, I'm turning into fucking
There's-
Kyle here. I'm really sort of pro manga in this.
I'm loving
in
it.
this
There's fuck. I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Hold on. There's something to be said. Is how I was gonna open the line. About how like anime has a thing, fellas. I don't know if you've realized this. Anime and manga has a thing with these asexual protagonists. Luffy, Goku. They don't really show anything. They kind of don't know what love is. You say love, Goku thinks. You say marriage, Goku thinks it's something to eat, so he agrees to marry Chi-Chi. It's a whole fucking deal. Eren has always kind of been that way, like traditionally in Attack on Titan with Mikasa, where he seems so oblivious. I think oblivious is better than asexual as a descriptive for these
If I was to
things.
describe asexual, my first thought would be Levi, more than Eren.
But you see, he's fucking Erwin. If
I
Twitter
don't
is
subs-
people.
I don't subscribe to that. I think Levi
I
is, like,
don't either,
is our
but yeah.
asexual representation, and possibly Hanji as well.
the obliviousness here and how it factors into Eren just sort of bringing it up and having no tact here. I was going to defend Mikasa, I think, is where I was going with this, because Bacon was insinuating that they are both equally cowards. Eren's being a bit of an oblivious idiot here. Is where I was
Mikasa
going
tried
with
to make the move way back in like what, chapter 49 or whatever.
Oh,
When
true.
they-
50. It was 50 exactly, isn't it?
Back
That
when-
was a
when they
YOLO
thought-
thing, right? Though she was just like, "Oh, I'm dying. I need to kiss this boy."
Her ribs got crushed. All right, she was a dead. But,
Yeah, she was, and yeah.
But
Anna's
even
just
that's
ready
like an
to-
oblivious moment where Eren like stands up. I remember saying this.
The anime was
I think in the
hilarious.
Jägermaster Plan video, or it was something where I think I was talking up the Historia thing, where Eren was going to be with Historia, and I was saying the only like time Eren and Mikasa ever had a romantic moment was the moment where he didn't kiss her, and that was sort of my way of framing it and being edgy. That was cute. Remember old Kyle Entertainment?
Do
He
you
used to say
remember,
some
do
wacky
you remember
things.
the, like, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows this meme by this point. Apparently they were originally going to kiss, and then Isayama chickened out because he was worried that he wouldn't be able to depict their relationship very well. Like he basically he felt his own inability as a writer meant that he wouldn't be able to follow on through what would happen if they did start a relationship.
I do remember this. Yeah.
But then
like,
wouldn't the whole entire ending be completely screwed? if
Everything
they
would
did this?
change. Everything would
Yeah.
change if that
Well, yeah.
happens.
But
Believe
like
it or not,
either-
he didn't have everything
it's-
planned out.
yeah, yeah. But I find this quite funny how like the amount of imposter syndrome like these really successful writers have.
To be fair,
Like-
Attack on Titan is his first manga.
I don't think this is a thing. I feel like even when I'm like writing scripts, I feel like it all ends up coming together by the end. I feel like I don't think there's a single writer that's ever planned everything out. I don't
No,
believe
it's not too much to do
Um,
with the planning. It's more just he feels like it's an imposter syndrome more than anything else. He
Yeah,
feels
that
like
he doesn't
isn't-
deserve
Oh,
that he's
he
not.
feel-
competent
okay,
enough.
Yeah,
I think
he
I get
feels
it.
like he isn't
Yeah.
good enough to finish his own story, or he isn't good enough to carry certain plot threads through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like in terms of what he had planned, I think the only thing he probably had planned from the start was that Mikasa would kill Eren. I think that's the only thing he knew would happen at the end.
Really?
I feel like that
'Cause-
see you later Eren has to imply that. That to me anyway, that suggests that no matter what else happens, Mikasa kills Eren.
All right, let's talk about them getting drunk. Woo! Yeah. Let's do
Yes. Oh, I didn't notice, but they did make it a little bit more obvious in the anime. They were all drinking out of like tins and broken cups. I never noticed that until.
Yeah,
the
I
thingy.
didn't really spot
this
that
is-
either.
Yeah, this is like their. I remember talking about this being their coming of age moment, where in coming of age movies, there's always a moment where they get drunk and get laid and do drugs for the first time. We've only really got the drinking here, but this is really the first time, and it's split up because Levi and Hanji don't really partake. It's more the younger generation here. It's really cute. They did put Mikasa's hand on Eren's shoulder. Which was cute, which isn't in the manga, but go ahead, Mr. R.
So I was going to say one thing. Oh, sorry, a couple of things. In the anime, for some reason, it's a clear liquid, whilst in the manga, it's very clearly wine they're drinking. Like, it looks like they're drinking some kind of spirit.
Ah.
Yeah,
the-
this is
in
what
the-
I was thinking. I was like, to be fair, that makes more sense to me. I don't know why, but I was like, yeah, give them like some really hard stuff.
Yeah, there's the shot of like Jean and Connie going off, running out, and then like just 3 static images
Coming
of
back.
the crowd forming
Yeah,
was a
that
bit
was
weird.
great. Oh, I thought it was
I
hilarious.
liked it. I liked the low frame rate. I liked that. That's not. That's how
Now
I
here's
describe
something
that,
as well.
but
Something
don't-
I was wondering what they were going to show. So if you scroll down to the shot where they're all passed out,
Uh-huh.
uh,
Sasha vomiting.
with Sasha vomiting, that
Oh, you're
shot,
talking
that
about
shot
something
was great in the anime. But there was always something that confused me. Who is that with his back on Connie? Because he's wearing a suit, but it's not any of the characters.
I feel like somebody's pointed this out to me before, but I
Probably
have no
me, because
idea.
it still annoys me to this day. I have no idea who the fuck this is meant to be.
I assume.
Maybe, oh no,
that-
maybe it's someone he was drinking with because they changed costumes, so he's got their hat, and maybe like
Oh, holy shit! He might
No,
be
but
right.
they've all got, but they've
So
still,
Connie
he's still
still
got a
has
suit
the
jacket
jacket
on.
on.
Yeah,
he's
they've
still got a
the
suit jacket on.
jackets.
Yeah.
I don't know. They could have. Some of them might work in the town or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just
and
one of
have
those
the
real.
suit.
It was just one of those things. But yeah, the shots of them all getting drunk.
Hold on,
getting
look
to
at
be
this fella
kids.
here in the long shot. Who is this fella? He looks like he's kind of. No, it might be a girl actually with the scarf on.
Oh yeah,
All
no,
the-
there was a lady in the anime.
The fact that they all just get to be
Yeah,
sort
okay,
of,
so
you know,
probably,
get to be kids, get to experience that.
Creepy Grin's not in this. It's only it's an anime only. Hold up, I'm gonna pick.
What
I'm
bit,
gonna,
sorry?
The creepiest grin that I was talking about is hang on, let me find it.
Yeah, it is good watching them sort of throw back and just get absolutely fucking hammered. It's
very cute. Yes.
it's a cute like it's one of those moments that I was really looking forward to seeing animated. I think for the most part they did it justice.
Yes, I think all of the fun stuff in the episode was done very well. Just quickly, in case we run out of battery time, then we do get the scene at the conference, which is cute. It's like a world-building thing that there are at least some humanitarian aid things that want to help Eldians. They just hate the
Although they want to help
people.
subjects of Ymir, they still hate
Subjects
Eldians.
of Ymir, yes.
Or they use
forgot
Eldians
the
as their
distinction.
scapegoat, I guess, in order to.
I feel like it fleshes the world out a little bit, that at least somebody outside of the fucking island, or at least, well, not outside the island. The island's irrelevant because it is subjects of Ymir, not the. But somebody cares a little bit, and they're not all just like these evil, like spit on them as they walk through the streets thing. Even if they come to the wrong conclusion. This shot of Eren leaving is instilled in my brain. It was shot again differently on a different angle, I know, in the anime. I don't know if it was as effective. They did pause on it, which was good. This shot of sexy Eren coming out of the Titan, I remember this shot very clearly because I used it in a video.
And
He looks
they
very
replaced
sexy
it
here.
in the anime. They replaced it with Mikasa.
Yeah, I was
instead.
gonna say. Yeah, because it was they reused that shot. Yes, I remember. And then we cut back to stuff that we've already seen. It's one.
And again, they use the
yeah, that's
shot. They use
cool
like the
stuff.
wide shot of Sasha being shot rather than just her dead as well. But again, for static panels, it probably
Yeah.
makes more sense to use the dead panel.
Yeah, it's more of a face shot of like,
Yeah.
oh, Sasha's dead, sad times.
Right. So I guess before we wrap up, do we want to talk about part 3? Is there much to
Yes,
say
I
about
do only
part
have
3?
10%, so
I think we've covered the
we don't
chapter.
really need to do. Yeah, we don't need to do wrap up thoughts. I feel like it's good. We all like it. There were some weird things. In terms of part 3, how many episodes do we get? I don't know. I guess there's 9 chapters left. Are we doing 8? Are we doing 10? Are we doing 12? Are we going to
Imagine if they got the
out?
budget for 12, but just
My God, are we
only
going to
did
change
9.
some things?
Imagine if they did get
Yeah.
the budget for 12, but then just did 9 episodes. How fucking good would those 9 be?
I mean, it's probably coming out in January, right? That's what we're.
Well, they said
presuming, 'cause that's how they've been
winter.
doing it.
What did they say? Winter 2023, which means any time between December of 2022 and February of 2023.
I don't think they specified, did they? They just
Oh,
said
did they?
2023.
Yeah,
Did they just say 2023?
I feel like somebody said that in the Discord. I think I might have
I
said
think most
what-
people say it's 22, but like it's safe to assume because these parts always come out on the 2023.
Yeah, it's usually like
and
February and
those poor
stuff.
Mappa
Right?
animators. Oh my word. Good grief.
I mean, they've got
Yeah.
less episodes to animate, but they've got a lot to animate within those episodes. Like,
Yeah, no, it is. Like they got a lot of fighting, a lot of things to animate. Lots of CG will have to be used, and hopefully they'll have enough time to clean it up.
yeah, because I mean, even thinking of panels where like all the fucking Warhammer Titans are shooting arrows at Falco and stuff. That's a lot of Warhammer Titans.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll probably have like a base model that they can make alterations to. Because the nice thing is the Warhammer Titans all look quite similar. Okay, yeah, you're right. Officially announced for 2023. So yeah, my guess will be January or February of 2023. But
I hope that is the latest possible in 2023. Honestly, I want as much time as possible given to the animators. I know they probably won't get it. That's always my opinion. That's like I'm always like give them a creative as much time as possible to make it good because they probably will make
I
it
think
good.
they will have had a decent amount of time to work on it because they had they'll have had about the same amount of time to work on it as they had to work on part 2, possibly even more. I don't know. So hopefully.
I am getting near the critical mass, so we should probably do an outro. Does anybody have anything last to say before I send them home happy?
We have
No.
some cool stuff in the works.
This will not be the last you hear of, well, it might be the last you hear of these 3, but we've been hinting at some things. I'm pretty sure if you haven't caught on yet, you're a bit of a dummy. But there'll be some things.
No
We'll be talking about
offense.
Attack on Titan here on the, dummy. We'll be talking about Attack on Titan a little bit on various channels. But you'll see more details on that to come. And if you want more bacon, well, you better get into Berserk, is all I'm going to say about that.
Or just
gotta
subscribe to
try and get-
me. I guess I've released 2 videos.
Yes,
in
everybody's
Magic
links are
TV.
in the description. You like Vinland Saga? Ever heard of Vinland Saga? You like Yamiya?
Whoa,
Head over to
my
Bacon's channel.
whoa, my personality. Yay.
I
Hang
still
on.
haven't seen that video, by the way.
Oh, it's so good, Carl. You're missing out.
I will watch it. We nearly did it on stream yesterday. I got a critical alert. So check out Bacon's channel. Check out Mr. R's channel. They'll all be linked in the description. We're not linking Ari. He abandoned us. He will be back though soon with our future teased projects here. And he probably will be in the description anyway because I'm such a generous young man. An edited, better, cleaned up version of this very video will be on Mr. R's channel, though. If you're this far in, I don't know if you're going to want to watch it all again.
course
So
they
we probably
will.
should shield it at the beginning of the screen. Yeah, head on over there.
And it'll
Like
be
it
on
anyway.
my
Leave it
new,
on its
my new channel for anime as well.
Yes. Oh, I'll have to change the link, or I can link them both. I'll figure that out later. With that being said, everybody, it's time to leave. Support links for everybody in the description below. Thanks.